In a dramatic showdown that has reignited debates over civil liberties and federal overreach, federal officers unleashed tear gas and made multiple arrests during a protest outside Portland's ICE facility on Saturday. But here's where it gets controversial. While authorities claim these actions were necessary to maintain order, protesters and civil rights advocates argue it's a blatant suppression of free speech. Let's dive into what happened and why it's sparking such fierce debate. On the afternoon of October 4, 2025, hundreds of demonstrators gathered at Elizabeth Caruthers Park in southwest Portland, a familiar rallying point for activism in the city. From there, they marched to the Portland Immigration and Customs Enforcement ICE detention facility, a site that has long been a flashpoint for tensions over immigration policies. This protest was the latest in a series of demonstrations sparked by President Donald Trump's recent announcement that he would deploy up to 200 members of the Oregon National Guard to Portland, a move that has polarized the community. The scene escalated quickly. Protesters blocked the road in front of the facility, a symbolic act of defiance. In response, federal law enforcement officers emerged from the building and deployed tear gas to disperse the crowd. Witnesses reported multiple canisters being fired, though the exact number remains unclear. The use of tear gas, a tactic often criticized for its indiscriminate nature, has become a focal point of outrage among activists and onlookers alike. And this is the part most people miss. Amid the chaos, federal officers were seen arresting several protesters who were standing on the sidewalk outside the facility's entrance. By 1:20 p.m., tear gas canisters were still being fired, raising questions about the proportionality of the response. At least 2 of those arrested were released later that day, including Cass Cano, who was detained for approximately 90 minutes and issued a notice of violation for trespassing. But the arrests have left many wondering, were these actions justified, or did they cross the line into intimidation? The human stories behind the headlines add depth to this narrative. John Jolley, a protester who arrived later in the afternoon, recounted the lingering smell of tear gas and urged fellow activists not to take the bait, echoing a sentiment often repeated by Portland's community leaders. "What brought me out here was seeing what happened to our city in 2020, Jolley said, referencing the tumultuous protests that gripped Portland during that year. "I don't want history to repeat itself." Steve Hall, a former U.S. Army intelligence officer who served for 3 years, was also among the protesters. "The Guard troops don't belong here," Hall asserted. "Our local police force is more than capable of handling the situation." His perspective highlights a broader debate about the role of federal intervention in local matters, a topic that continues to divide opinions. Perhaps most striking was the presence of Brittanee Carr, a mother from Milwaukee, who brought her 5-year-old daughter to the protest. "I want to show her that this isn't okay," Carr explained, "that you can stand up for what you believe in, and we can protest peacefully." Her decision to involve her child in the demonstration has sparked its own debate. Is it empowering to raise the next generation of activists, or is it exposing them to unnecessary risk? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. As this story continues to develop, one thing is clear. The events outside Portland's ICE facility are more than just a local skirmish. They're a microcosm of the larger national struggle over immigration, law enforcement, and the boundaries of dissent. Are federal authorities overstepping their bounds, or are they simply upholding the law? And what does this mean for the future of protest in America? Let us know where you stand. This conversation is far from over.